everybody, welcome back. Apologies for the long break in uploading. I couldn't quite find the time to record any videos, but in this video today I'm adjusting my rear suspension on my car, doing a full service, and you'll find out later on that that service goes quite wrong and my car ends up off the road for a few days because I have an issue with the sump. But I'll let you guys find out what actually happened when you see it in the video later on. Got some slightly interesting jobs. So these are all the parts that we are fitting. So we've got a fuel filter, the package looks battered but ignore it. Got a fuel filter there, an oil filter, oil, some polybushed top mounts and some polybushed little rings that go around the top of that. So that should hopefully, because we've got a bit of a knock on front end, that should hopefully sort it. We will see, but it should improve handling either way. So that is a very cool little upgrade I'm excited for. And these are here because I need to adjust my back ride height. So I have recently fit new rear suspension to this because all the springs collapsed. So I let the ride height settle a bit, and now we're getting to adjust it. I want it sort of similar to how this is because I think that's quite nice. Not too high, not too low. But the issue with this at the moment, my main issue is driving it with the lights on at night. The lights are sort of pointed at the floor because the car's sort of tilted like that and the headlights are facing the floor. Excuse how dirty she is. It is getting into the winter months now and it's becoming increasingly difficult to keep a car clean. But yeah, so my plan is to jack this rear axle up and just drop that ride height by maybe a centimetre or two. We're going to use a tape measure to measure that, and hopefully she should come back looking really pretty. As you can see now, we're all up in the axle stands. Just put it on the rear subframe, and what we're going to do is just drop these adjusters down so they're actually threaded. And the way you lower the car is just by turning them clockwise, anti-clockwise, depending on sort of what orientation it is. But I'm aiming to drop these by about a centimetre, so I'm going to measure it now and then lower it a centimetre and then lower the car off at jacks and see if she's made much of a difference. To try and do now, because I cannot get enough force on that, is I'm going to undo this pinch bolt here for the shocker, and hopefully it'll just drop this enough to where the pressure will come off of that spring adjuster down there. Oh, down there, and then I can turn it, spin it, do whatever I want with it. And I'll just repeat the same thing on the other side if this works. Something we've ended up having to do, drop the rear shocker bolt out at both sides and drop the rear subframe a bit just so I can pull the springs out, because what's actually happened is these spring cups have got a load of, they're like a cup, the adjusters, so dirt just sits in them, and all the threads of the adjusters have got bunged up with shite. So I've done that side. She needs bolting back up, but I'm going to do this side before I bolt it all back up, and I will show you the process now. Bolt the spring cup adjuster out this side, it just sits in there nice and lovely, and the way you adjust these is by spinning the top, and you see it coming down, and that's all we do. So what I've got here is my measuring tape, so I will measure the gap between this top ridge here, this bottom ridge here. You can see it needs to come down about, I don't quite know how much that is, but I want the bottom of the yellow tape to be in line with the bottom of this ridge. So I'm just going to wind it down now and I'll get back to you with that. You can see now that is a lot lower and it's nice and in line with the bottom there. And so what I'm going to do now is chuck this back into here, bolt these shockers back up, and then drop the car, see how the ride height's looking, and hopefully she should be about where I want her. Now I've got the spring back in, the belt back in, and that side's also done. Just make sure that if you do drop the rear bolts out of this to tighten them up, because it is literally that bolt and that little bolt over there is what holds pretty much your entire rear axle together. So what I'm going to do now is just make sure absolutely everything's buttoned up. Just go double check the bolt tightness on that side, which I believe is good. Now I'm putting wheels back on, putting her on the floor, and yeah, we'll see how she is. Also, don't forget, if you are to do one of these, make sure that these sensors aren't gonna like stretch or snap or anything. So what I did is I'd pop this out and then drop the frame. I did it on the other side, but I popped this one out instead because it was already half out on the other side. So just be wary of that, because that's something that you do not want to forget. Fortunately, I had to do it again, but I think she's sitting a lot nicer now. We'll get her cleaned and I'll show you a good photo in a bit, but sitting a lot nicer now. So now what I'm going to do is a couple of other jobs, like stuff like this. Then yeah, get back to you. It's going to be an oil change now. So first things you normally want to do is crack this plug off, leave it up there, and I like to pop that out, but you don't have to. So that's just going to allow air in, so that when we take the sump plug out the bottom, the oil can come in faster. It can come out faster because there's nothing stopping the air overtaking the space that the oil's leaving. So I'm going to jack this front end of this car up now, and then we'll get under it. Car's off the floor. What we're going to do is we're going to get my oil pan oil drainer thing and put it under there, and we'll get draining. Welcome to my oil sump. It's doing the 1.9 thing where it's got a leaky sump plug, but basically this little bolt here is what holds all your oil in your engine. So we're going to undo that and aim to get all the oil to fall right into that hole. So I'm going to crack that off now. I believe it's a 17, and yeah, drain it all into this tub, and then we'll get back on top. Capacitor has shook. Pull my sump plug out. I seem to have pulled all the sump plug threads with it. Great. I'm going to have to get a new sump because I tried putting it back in and it's just spinning. 1.9 elations. Fucking love this vehicle. I hate it to pieces, but minter, innit? It's just what I needed. But it's going to be one of them things that I knew I needed to do at some point, but I just never ended up doing it because I couldn't get around to it. Oh, I'm having to leave this here now because the big bag of shit's decided Sump, no, that is not my friend. So I'm gonna have to leave it here and come back to it tomorrow. It is now Tuesday. Started this job on Sunday, but because the Sump decided to say no, and it said no in a pretty big fashion, I've had to wait till Tuesday to get a Sump. So I'm gonna try to whip it all off now, and hopefully she should be running in about 4 hours. Most of that's leaving the sealant to set, because you can't just slam it on and ram it full of oil. You've got to let the RTV gasket set. I'll show you all anyway, so it's alright. This is my old Sump. That's the reason for pulling this out, because we've got like no threads in there. So we're just I'm gonna try to pull that oil level sensor out. I've just fucking snapped that the ball socket. Just snapped this inside of one of the bolts, so that's gonna be absolutely amazing, and it's gonna make putting these fucking back bolts in really nice. I'm being sarcastic, but yeah, I'm gonna pull that oil level sensor out, and then I've got my brand new one over here. Look how shiny she is. It's exactly the same in all areas, so she's looking good. With 3 bolts. Oh yeah, don't forget about the 3 bolts that bolt from gearbox if you're ever doing this job. It's fucking mental car, but hopefully we'll get it done today. Put oil level sensor in there, all bolted up nicely. So my next job is gonna be just cleaning all the mating area of where the sump will sit against the block, just so it seals nicely when I put the new sump on. And then once that's on, it should make not make, sorry, I'm gonna leave it for a few hours and then I'll put some oil in it, just because with RTV you've got to let it set. It's like a rubber sealant, it's like silicone I should say actually, and then once it cures it turns into like a rubber, and we're using Wins. So Wins is the way forward, everyone. If you ever need some RTV gasket, get Wins, man. it's next level, changes your life, seriously. So I'm gonna clean that up now and then get some silicone on that and send her up. To mention, front bumper's off because I'm taking these headlights out to revert it all back to halogen headlights, because right now I'm running LED headlights and they look good for photos and whatnot, but they don't provide great visibility, that's the word. Don't provide great visibility at night, and they're not too nice to other road users. So I'm going to revert it all back to halogens, and then hopefully at some point I can get like a proper setup for some LEDs, and it might make it a bit nicer when I'm driving, and a bit nicer for the other road users, but we shall see. At this job at sunrise, it is now sunset, and it's the Sump's on. I need to go get some bulbs from Alfred's, and then I can put the front end back together, and then once that's back together, just give it a few hours till that sealant set, and then she can go back on. My God, that was an awful job, and it's literally only because of there's 2 bolts at the back of the Sump, like near the gearbox, and wow, I had, let me show you actually, I had this, if you look at the end, the ball snapped off. So I tried struggling with a universal joint on a quarter drive. That said no. So I ended up having to send my girlfriend, thank God she exists, to the shop to get some ball-ended Allen keys, and then it just went straight in. So a little tip, if you ever do these, make sure you've got a ball-ended socket / Allen key, otherwise you're really going to struggle. But other than that, she's happy. Also, found out my intake pipe, this one, where it goes onto turbo, hanging off. So I had been hearing a little bit of a hissing, but I didn't really think much of it, but it turns out I should have thought much of it. So yeah, I'm off to go to Halfords now to go get bulbs, and then she can be back on the road today, thank God. Lights, front end's back on. Just going to give it a few more hours for the sealant to set, solidify and rubberise, and we'll get some oil in her. It'll probably be dark by the time we get some oil in her, but one of them, innit? She'll be back on the road today, cannot wait. Now got a running diesel engine. That's from what I spoke before, and just had a look underneath, and it does seem to be leaking, so I'm more than happy, thank fuck for that. Car causes me fucking headaches, this thing. Thank you ever so much for watching. If there is anything that you'd like to see in particular in the future videos, please let me know down in the comments, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.